While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I am your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Lauder. This is episode 332, What is Your Touch Communicating? Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Do you know what your touch is communicating? We know that physical intimacy is one of the keys in maintaining healthy and satisfying relationships, but non-sexual physical intimacy is just as important, if not more so, than sexual intimacy. Many people are so focused on how to have great sex, but forget about the daily intimacies of touch. The hugs, the kisses, the embraces, the hand-holding, the importance of touch as a love language and as a form of foreplay and making love itself. So how you touch your partner is vital to your relationship. So today our focus will be on understanding why that touch is so vital, the difference between intimate and sexual touch, how to navigate touch when partners have different needs or feel overwhelmed, and ways to build a culture of touch and pleasure in your relationship. So why is touch so vital to relationships? Well, touch is a foundational aspect of human connection. From the moment we're born, touch is crucial for survival, development, and emotional well-being. And in romantic relationships, touch serves as a powerful communicator of love, reassurance, and desire. It has the ability to convey what words sometimes can't, building a bridge of understanding and empathy between partners. Touch serves as a powerful form of nonverbal communication, conveying emotions and intentions that words sometimes just can't. A comforting hug, a reassuring pat on the back, a gentle squeeze of the hand can express empathy, support, and love, often more effectively than words. Additionally, physical touch can reduce stress levels by lowering cortisol, the stress hormone, and increasing endorphins, the body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. Regular touch has also been shown to improve immune function, reduce blood pressure, and promote overall physical health. So let's talk about the difference between intimate touch and sexual touch. Understanding this distinction is key to a balanced and fulfilling relationship. Intimate touch includes gestures like holding hands, hugging, or a gentle touch on the back. These touches communicate love and care and a sense of security. Now, sexual touch, on the other hand, is geared towards arousal and sexual pleasure, focusing on erogenous zones and intimate areas. Both types of touch are important because they fulfill different emotional and physical needs. Intimate touch fosters a sense of closeness and emotional security, while sexual touch enhances physical intimacy and satisfaction. And a healthy relationship needs both to thrive. So, why is it that partners sometimes retreat from touch when they actually need it the most? This often happens during very stressful or challenging times, even though touch could provide the comfort and support they need. And this behavior can stem from emotional overwhelm, where individuals feel unable to process additional stimuli, including touch. It could come from a fear of vulnerability. Touch can make individuals feel very exposed during these emotional times, and they might avoid touch to protect themselves. Now, miscommunication can also lead to retreating from touch, with one partner misinterpreting the other's actions as rejection or a lack of interest. So to address this, we really need to have open and honest dialogue. Encouraging a culture of open communication where both partners can express their needs and concerns without the fear of judgment, without the person getting really hurt and feeling rejected, right? For instance, one might say, I've noticed you pulling away lately. Can we talk about what's going on? So offering those verbal reassurance and validating each other's feelings can help, as also being patient and understanding can. And really just giving space when space is needed, but expressing a desire to support each other, even through tough times, with touch. Now, it's really important to be specific about the type of touch you want and need. And by doing so, that can really improve your relationship. For example, in non-sexual ways, you might say, I really enjoy it when you hold my hand while we walk. It makes me feel connected to you. Or a hug right now would really comfort me. Can you hold me for a minute? These clear requests help your partner understand how they can support you emotionally. I know I do this all the time. When I'm feeling a lot of anxiety or, when I'm feeling kind of dysregulated, I ask my husband to just hold me, and it helps calm me down, and it's so needed. And he is always willing to give that to me, which is so nice. In sexual ways, you might say, things like, oh, I love it when you kiss my neck gently. It really turns me on. Or tonight, I'd like to explore some slow and sensual touching. Can we try that? Communicating these desires sets the stage for a more fulfilling sexual experience, making sure that you're on the right page and you're getting the kind of touch that helps and turns you on. So touch can really act as a gateway to the erotic, activating what we've talked about before on the podcast, responsive desire. So this is when sexual desire emerges in response to sexual stimuli or activities rather than spontaneously. For example, a back rub gradually leading to more intimate touch eventually can spark some sexual arousal. However, it's important to remember that not all touch has to lead to sex. So creating a space where touch is appreciated for its own sake helps maintain that healthy balance. Hey listeners, are you loving the tips and insights from Sex for Saints? Want to apply them to your own life? Join my Embrace You Elite Society membership. In this exclusive membership, you'll get access to personalized coaching, practical tools, and a supportive community of women, all working towards enhancing their intimate lives. Ready to take your intimacy to the next level? Visit amandalauder.com and join today. Let's embrace a more fulfilling and intimate life together. Now back to the show. But we want to build a culture of touch and pleasure in your relationship. So I want you to consider the following tips. The first is having daily rituals. So incorporating small touches into your daily routine, like a morning hug or a goodnight kiss and holding hands while you go for a walk or you watch TV. This can reinforce the importance of touch throughout your relationship. The next is playfulness. So engaging in playful touch, like a light tickle or a playful nudge to keep things really fun and lighthearted in your relationship. And the third is mindfulness. So being fully present and engaged during moments of touch, focusing on the sensations and the emotions they evoke for both the giver and the receiver. This can help deepen the physical and emotional connection. So sometimes touch can become aversive due to past experiences, stress, or emotional disconnect. If this happens, it's important to address it openly and compassionately and with sensitivity and patience. So identify the cause by reflecting on any recent changes or stressors that might be contributing to the aversion. Pay attention to the stories that you're telling yourself about the touch, and communicate your feelings with your partner without placing blame, creating a space for understanding, and support. So I often hear from women that they have become aversive to touch because touch is too sexual and overt, and is often happening at times that really just isn't appropriate. Consent is still important within marriage, so making sure you have your partner's consent to touch them is essential. Now, often we touch people the way we want to be touched, so often men become grabby or gropey because they would like that themselves. But most women, not all, but most, don't like to be grabbed and groped. They need more affectionate and intimate touch rather than sexual touch. So make sure that there is clear communication about what kind of touch is appropriate and when. Touch also becomes aversive when we think that all touch has to lead to sexual activity, like what I talked about before. I can't tell you how many women have told me that they tense up every time their husband touches them because they know it means they want sex, and especially if the only time they touch them is when they want sex. So when we think that all touch has to lead to sex, touch becomes a point of conflict in the relationship. And these scripts, these unspoken expectations between couples, causes problems. So rather than allowing the touch to build and be a place to nurture each other, it becomes a place where we're extracting from our partner or we feel like we're being taken from. Feeling touched out is a really common experience, especially for those who are caregivers, parents, or individuals with high sensory sensitivity. And it can occur when you feel overwhelmed by too much physical contact and need just space to recharge. So it's important to understand that being touched out is legitimate and common. It's a very common experience, and partners should work to not take it as a personal rejection. But when this happens, we need to communicate with our partner about how we're feeling and what we need in order to recharge. Maybe that is space, or maybe it's just a different kind of touch. Now, touch can feel extracting, like I need to touch you or you need to touch me so I can feel okay about myself. Or it can be nourishing. I want to give to you and I don't need anything in return. So understanding the kind of touch you like and communicating that to your partner, developing a language around touch, and really listening to your partner and what they want versus what you automatically do when giving or taking. Hey there, listeners. Exciting news. I'm opening up a few spots for one-on-one coaching again, and I'm thrilled to work with both men and women this time. If you're looking to transform your intimacy and relationships, this is your chance. Our coaching journey will span 12 weeks, giving us the time and space to make real impactful changes. Interested? Head over to my website for more information and to secure your spot. Don't wait too long. These spots will fill up fast. Let's work together to create the relationship you've always dreamed of. Now back to the podcast. So let's talk about some tips for great touch. When touching our partners, we want a spirit of mutuality, giving and receiving. But that doesn't mean that it has to be balanced or symmetrical. If done in the spirit of mutuality, we can be a little selfish in our experiences. Sometimes it might be about one partner, another time it might be about the other. Sometimes it's about both. So here's some tips for givers. The first is to go slow. You'll feel more in your hands and be better able to touch in the way that your partner wants to be touched if you go slow. Also, pay attention to your partner's reactions and adjust your touch accordingly. It's not about function, but about feeling. Also, experiment with different types of touch, such as light strokes or firm pressure or gentle caresses. And ask for feedback to ensure your touch is pleasurable and comfortable for them. That's the most important thing, right? Now, some tips for receivers. The first is to work on your mindset. So often we have stories in our brain about how maybe we're not worthy of the time that they're taking or that we're taking too much. And these are stories we need to work on changing and be willing to receive. You are worthy. You can build a higher capacity for pleasure over time if you work on your stories. The second is be vocal. Communicate your preferences clearly and provide feedback. Say what you want. Now, you can do so in a kind way. Don't worry about hurting your partner's feelings, and partners, don't get your feelings hurt, okay? But this is about learning how to touch each other in the ways that work best. The third is to be active in receiving. Pay attention to what's happening. Be present in your own body and with the sensations. The fourth is also to relax, okay? Allow yourself to fully experience and enjoy the touch without judgment. Next, communicate, okay? I said be vocal before, but we also have to communicate. You're training your partner on how you want to be touched. So communicate your wants and desires. Even just a sigh or a moan can communicate a lot and can communicate your enjoyment. And then, of course, don't be shy about expressing gratitude for your partner's efforts, reinforcing those positive experiences. Now, if any of these are hard for you as a giver or a receiver, you can practice doing it in very small amounts of time, even 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It does not have to be an hour long, okay? So you can say to your partner, what kind of touch would you like to receive for blank number of minutes? Or you can say, I would like to give you this kind of touch for blank number of minutes. May I? Now, the person can respond with a yes or a no, or clarifying what they want. I don't really want a foot massage for 3 minutes, but I'd love for you to work on my hands. Then set a timer. This gives you a constrained amount of time that you can focus on this and really focus on fully giving and receiving during that amount of time. Now, when the timer's up, I want you to do a short debrief with each other to see how it went. This builds up our skills in a very incremental but practical way. Now, I have women do this at my retreats. They do hand massages for just a few minutes, and they practice giving and receiving and giving feedback and asking for clarification. Harder, deeper, softer. I like it when you do this. Or does that feel good? What about here? Okay, is the pressure okay? These are skills that translate really well into sex and the bedroom. So I highly recommend doing this. Touch has the ability to change our state physically, mentally, and emotionally. It can reduce stress. It can lower blood pressure and release oxytocin, the love hormone, which promotes bonding and connection. Mentally, touch can alleviate feelings of anxiety and depression, fostering a sense of well-being. Emotionally, it can create a deeper bond and understanding between partners, enhancing overall relationship satisfaction. It's a phenomenal gift we can offer one another and opens up so much. I was listening to a podcast on touch as preparation for this podcast, and at the end, they said, touch to feel. Because it's not only touch to feel what your hands feel, it's touch to feel the emotions that touch allows us to feel. It's touch to evoke feelings and guide others into experiences. And I loved that. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. If this was helpful for you, please make sure that you give me a rating or review, share it with your friends, share it on Instagram. This is such a great topic. We're going to be having a lot of conversations about this on Instagram. So come join me over there and ask any questions you have and interact with me. I would love to talk to you more about touch. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.